With a violent car burglar overnight, Katrina Weber shares what neighbors are now worried about.
Plus, thousands of people lined up to get their first COVID-19 vaccination. Sarah Costa shares some of the frustration people in line are now facing.
Got some winter weather over the weekend. What can we expect this week? We've got the latest forecast coming up.
People in a Northwest Side neighborhood are shaken up after a run-in with a violent car burglar. They told San Antonio police that shots were actually fired at one car owner who tried to confront that burglar.
It happened at an apartment complex on Woodstone near Interstate 10. And as Katrina Weber tells us, neighbors are worried he'll make an appearance.
Lights from police cars in the 4900 block of Woodstone stood out against the dark sky, grabbing the attention of Diego Gomez, who was driving by.
I just tried to holler at them real quick. And I told them, hey, can I report this? And they're like, yes. And then they just told me to come pull up to the side.
What he wanted to report was that someone had broken into his car. He noticed it before 6:30 this morning.
I had a broken window. My car handle was broken too. I saw a rock on the floor. I opened my trunk, they took my clothes and some pair of shoes.
His wasn't the only car hit. Police already were investigating another break-in nearby. Only in this case, the car owners confronted the burglar, then had to duck from bullets. The couple says the burglar shot at them twice. I spoke to several people who live here, some who say they woke up to the sound of those gunshots. Not one of them wanted to talk on camera. They say what they also heard was the shooter promising to come back. The last time anyone saw him, he was running into an apartment complex across the street. Police brought out a dog and helicopter to search, but the shooter got away.
I just found out that there's a shooting, it's just crazy.
Seeing what happened here, Gomez is glad the burglar who hit his car was gone when he found it. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A man behind bars this noon facing charges after he's accused of making threatening remarks during an argument with his mother over a stimulus check. According to an arrest affidavit, it happened on Friday when Saeed Miriam began arguing with his mom because she was, quote, being greedy with stimulus money. Police say he threatened her with a machete. The affidavit states that they got into another argument yesterday and family members called the police in fear it would escalate. He's facing charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and his bond is set at $7,500. In the latest news, a woman was hit and killed while she was trying to cross a poorly lit intersection this morning. It happened around 10:30 last night near West Avenue and Trudell Drive. That's near Jackson Keller Road. Police tell us the woman was hit while crossing the intersection and was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers say the driver says he did not see her until it was too late. Police tell us the driver did stop to render aid and will not face any charges.
Now to the latest on the COVID-19 numbers here in Bexar County. Local health officials reporting 3,002 new cases of the virus. That is the highest single-day case total we've seen since the pandemic began. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says more than 1,400 people are in the hospital due to the virus. 395 are in the ICU and 229 are on ventilators.
And COVID-19 vaccinations are underway here in San Antonio, and today thousands are lined up at the Alamo Dome waiting to receive theirs. Sarah Costa spoke with some people waiting in line, some expressing frustrations, others hopeful that the light at the end of the tunnel is finally appearing.
Over 1,000 people lining up and rolling up their sleeves to get their COVID-19 vaccine at the Alamo Dome today. Those spots very difficult to get, appointments filling up in just 6 minutes on Saturday when registration opened for the 9,000 vaccinations for San Antonio residents in phases 1A and 1B. A Memorial High School vice principal, Rhiannon Rodriguez, says it's a proud moment for her, saying she is ready to get back to her students safely.
Just continuing to work regularly with my students, my teachers, and my community. It's just doing our part to stay safe.
This being the first day of the city rolling out its mass vaccination sites, some kinks did occur, like some people thinking they had appointments due to computer glitches.
The scheduled date, 11/1, 9:10 a.m. So I waited all through the line to get in. And then they said that even though I've got an appointment, somehow they didn't have it on the computer.
Organizers say one way to avoid this is that anyone who registered for an appointment, you are for sure in the computer system if you received a confirmation email with a QR code. The San Antonio Fire Department also setting up a separate mobile line on site.
And for those people that can't stand in line, that are elderly and have a handicap sticker on their car, the San Antonio Fire Department is running a mobile site where they check your paperwork and then you pull up, roll down your window, and they vaccinate you on the spot.
San Antonio Fire Chief Charles Hood says he is proud that the rollout has been going relatively smoothly and knows that they will work out any of these kinks as they continue the process.
Overall, with a situation like this, you're probably going to have some technical glitches or some human challenges. We've had a few of those, but as far as us vaccinating people that need to stay in their vehicles, that can't stand or move around, that piece has been going very well.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
The city of San Antonio, meantime, partnering up with WellMed. What they're doing is they are vaccinating 9,000 people on the south and west sides of the city. Now, those who are eligible are going to be able to receive their vaccine next week at the Elvira Cisneros Senior Community Center on Southwest Military and Alicia Trevino Lopez Senior One-Step Center on Culebra. Because so many people had issues registering at the Alamo Dome this weekend, organizers say they're really making an effort to help people out.
We are actually, people that keep calling, they can't get in, we are actually calling them back so they can get an appointment. So we're being very proactive about trying to get as many people as we can within the 6-day period.
If you'd like to make an appointment, you can call a toll-free number. It should be on your screen, 1-833-968-1745. The lines are going to be open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, 7 days a week.
Meanwhile, Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff are requesting more doses of COVID-19 vaccines from Governor Greg Abbott. In a letter to the governor this weekend, it said, quote, to date, 26,000 appointments at mass vaccination sites have been filled rapidly without significant issues other than the lack of enough doses of the vaccine to meet the demand. The governor has yet to respond to the letter. The Texas Department of State Health Services has announced Bexar County is expected to get another 9,000 doses.
The VIA organization now stepping up as well to help people get their COVID-19 vaccines. They're offering complimentary rides. This is for anyone traveling to or from an appointment at the city or county-sponsored vaccination sites like the Alamo Dome and Wonderland of the Americas Mall. Now, this offer includes regular bus, VIA Link, and VIA Trans services. Riders, all they have to do is to present their appointment registration on paper or on their phone or their COVID-19 shot record on the day of their appointment.
Now to the latest from the Capitol. With 9 days left in his presidency, President Trump is facing the threat of a second impeachment as lawmakers push for him to be held accountable for the violent attack on the Capitol. ABC's Elizabeth Schultz with what's more to come as arrests have been made following last week's attack.
5 days after the assault on the Capitol, growing pressure from House Democrats to remove President Trump from office. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi giving Vice President Mike Pence a 24-hour deadline to invoke the 25th Amendment, stripping the president of his powers. Pelosi says if that doesn't happen, the House will move to impeach Trump this week.
This door they broke down.
The House Speaker showing 60 Minutes her ransacked office, saying Trump must be held accountable.
He has done something so serious that there should be prosecution against him.
More than 200 Democrats are already backing a charge to impeach the president for willfully inciting violence against the government of the United States.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
A nationwide manhunt is underway for the thousands of rioters who attacked the Capitol. This man, seen holding a white flex cuff, arrested over the weekend, along with another man who appears to be carrying plastic restraints, raising questions about whether they intended to take hostages. A growing number of private companies are now reconsidering their ties to the president in the wake of the attack. The PGA announcing it will no longer hold its 2022 championship at his Bedminster Golf Club. And major companies including Marriott and Blue Cross Blue Shield pulling donations for GOP lawmakers who objected to certifying President-elect Joe Biden's victory. After Twitter banned the president, some conservatives turned to self-proclaimed free speech app Parler. That app now removed from Apple and Google's app stores, and Amazon has suspended hosting the app on its platform. The president and some GOP lawmakers calling the bans a limit on free speech. Others say not so fast.
These are private companies. They are not public squares. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who are complaining, many of whom work in Congress, haven't really read the First Amendment, which says Congress shall make no law against abridging freedom of speech.
Some companies, including JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Citi, are suspending political donations altogether. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
The White House says President Trump will be visiting the border wall in Alamo, Texas, near McAllen tomorrow. It says that he wants to make take a look at the completion of that portion of the wall. The trip is the only item on President Trump's official calendar for this coming week, but he does appear poised to release a list of pardons, issue executive orders, and give out a Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is the president's first public appearance since the riot at the Capitol last week.
Hey, the Spurs split the weekend with Minnesota, but they are having a pretty good road trip overall. Highlights from last night coming up in sports.
Plus, President-elect Kamala Harris's team, Vice President-elect, I should say, Kamala Harris's team, they're upset about this upcoming Vogue cover.
And helping the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, what you could get in return for donating convalescent plasma.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
Have we got deals for you? Welcome to KSATdeals.com. Now, I can't wait to spotlight this next product. It's nostalgia in a box, and I'm seriously considering getting this for my little ones. Create some fun with this retro TV gaming console. Comes with 620 pre-installed games, and it comes with one TV video game console, 2 hardwired controllers, 1 audio video cable for TV, 1 power charger, and 1 user manual. Now, it's easy to link to your television. You can play games like you did when you were a little one like me. All of this for a crazy low price, worth all the fun you'll have while spending more time at home, as we all are these days. Now, the retail price for this, $99, but the game console KSAT Deals price is $39.99. That is a 60% discount. You can get this deal along with many others at KSATdeals.com.
Welcome back. In the middle of this pandemic, the demand for blood continues to be high in South Texas.
The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center especially in need of type O blood. As of yesterday, there was only a 1-day supply of type O blood, which is used in emergencies for 48 counties and over 100 hospitals and clinics. There needs to be at least 3 days of supply for each type of blood. Donors can schedule a blood donation by calling 210-731-5590. That number's on your screen right there. Or you can visit the southtexasblood.org. Convalescent plasma donors are thanked with a $60 Visa gift card.
Overcast outside, but no snowflakes today.
Not today. No, that was a yesterday thing. We're past that now, but it is going to be a little chilly today. We've got some cloud cover hanging around. That'll keep temperatures probably in the 40s. You know, we did get some good rainfall too, along with a few snow flurries. The aquifer is up as a result, 664.6. In your pollen count, great news here. Mountain Cedars dropped even more into the moderate category. It's 230. Mold is low. We've got to look ahead to your forecast coming up.
It was so much fun all day yesterday, hearing reports from all over Texas from friends and checking it out on Facebook. I saw David got a lot of snow in Spring Branch.
We did. It was still on the ground this morning. That's how cold it was last night. It hadn't all melted yet. So
nice.
I'll look forward to getting home and see if it's still there. Probably not.
It was a lot of the pictures. I mean, just incredible. It was very pretty here across the state of Texas. And yes, we did get a few flurries here in San Antonio mixed with some sleet. Just kind of a cold, damp day. The big numbers were to our north. Let's take a look at some of the snowfall totals looking back yesterday. So officially at the airport, interestingly enough, we did register 0.2 inches of snow, more than a trace. But as you get up towards New Braunfels, about half an inch. That was the case up around Canyon Lake, close to an inch in some cases up there. You get up towards Austin, officially 1.3 at the airport there, but there were some reports of 3 to 4 inches around the Austin area, and then Waco 4.4 inches. Stephenville was the big one, 8 inches. That was one of the largest totals I saw. Even Bryan College Station got quite a bit. It was a large swath here across Texas, but the heaviest snow was basically Lubbock to Midland, Abilene, San Angelo, across Waco, and then towards the Tyler area. And again, we did see a little bit here in the Hill Country. Interesting setup, but did put down quite a bit of snow. Now, the good news with all this, we did get some good rain out of it. Yes, it rained most of the day, really, and we got 0.84 inches. We're actually above average for the year, yes, but you have to put that into context because if you remember, last year we were well below average, so we still got a deficit that we've got to make up here. Del Rio picked up about 0.13 of an inch as well. Outside right now, overcast, 44 degrees. We started off with a little bit of sun. The clouds have since filled in, and we've got a north-northwesterly wind at about 14 miles per hour. So that means there's wind chill out there. It's going to feel colder than that actual air temperature. And you see the clouds sort of working in from the north here, and they've filled in here across Bexar County within the last hour or so. Temperature-wise, 45 Port SA, 39 still. Bernie Stage, 45 New Braunfels, 44 right now in Hondo, 45 down there in Carrizo Springs. Sun's out now there. Same story in Del Rio. And seeing some sun to the south as well. Wind chill, 37. That's what it feels like at this hour. Feels like 39 in New Braunfels and 31 right now in Kerrville. And here's the latest system. You can see that it is moved out of Texas and now moving towards parts of Mississippi. There's some snow there, snow in Tennessee. Those are areas that just recently got some snow, and here we go again. Well, with this latest system. Meantime, over Texas, there is another area of low pressure that's going to try to work in tomorrow. Now, this is not going to bring rain. All the moisture has pretty much left us, but I think it will kick up some clouds, and I can't completely rule out a sprinkle as it moves through, but most anything that develops is probably going to evaporate before it reaches the ground. So here's what the forecast looks like. We'll try to clear out a little bit this evening. And if we clear out enough tonight, we're going to get some pretty cold temperatures. So we're talking upper 20s for us here in San Antonio, and then places in the Hill Country even colder. And then as we get into tomorrow, clouds will increase again as this disturbance works through, and there could be a light sprinkle or two, but again, nothing of great significance. Temperatures tomorrow morning down to 28 here in San Antonio, 23 Kerrville, 24 in Fredericksburg. So we are looking for a freeze tomorrow morning. Heads up. 47 today, and then those numbers fall off sharply tonight, especially if those clouds clear out. 50 tomorrow, 64 Wednesday, 71 on Thursday, turning a little bit breezy, a little cooler Friday, Saturday, and another chance of rain shows up on Sunday, guys.
Good. Keep the rain. We need it. Coming up after the break, a look at last night's Spurs game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not what we were hoping for. The second of back-to-backs against the Minnesota last night. No DeMar DeRozan out due to personal reasons. He flew home to Los Angeles because his father is taken ill. So who's going to step up for the Spurs? Lonnie Walker, the fourth, tried to step up for the Spurs at least early on. Lonnie Walker just taking it right to the hole. I like that step across the lane. Scored 8 of the team's first 12 points. Then late in the quarter, Rudy Gay takes it to the hoop for 2. Spurs trail 25-22 after 1. Second quarter, Keldon Johnson just going to attack the rim. That's a two-handed slam. Spurs still down by 3, but they're starting to get hot behind the arc. First, Walker delivers with a 3 from the wing. He had a 22. That was a team high in the first half. Then Walker finds Patty Mills for the corner 3. Spurs up 49-44 at half. All right, go to the second half. Lonnie comes out still firing away from the wing. Again, a 3. Spurs up 55-53. Under 2 minutes in the third, LaMarcus Aldridge with the turnaround jumper. San Antonio heads to the fourth quarter up 69-66. Patty Mills opens things up. There's a 3 from the corner, and he also gets another 3. That's just from the top right there. 75-68 Spurs. He had 13 of his 18 in the fourth. Get the lead to 9 before the Wolves come back. D'Angelo Russell dials in from long distance and connects. That ties it up at 77 apiece. Timeout Spurs. Then Naz Reid gets away with a double draw. This is the NBA, I guess. Okay. Layup gives Minnesota lead 86-81. LaMarcus Aldridge keeps it. The Spurs get the tip, but They can't get anything else to fall after that. They end up trailing. Shots won't go. They end up losing. Here's the final from Minnesota. So they split the series with Minnesota. Not bad. 96-88 is that final. They're 3-1 on this road trip. They're 5-5 for the season. So here's the schedule for you for this week. They wrap up this road trip in Oklahoma City tomorrow night, and then they come home, and it's a back-to-back with a day in between with the Houston Rockets. That'll be Thursday, and then on Saturday at 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. So that's kind of an odd start time, but it's 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Still ahead in this half hour, a social media app growing in popularity has officially been shut down. Details on why Parler is now offline. And heartburn, bloating, and nausea shortly after eating. Details on a condition affecting diabetics and what you should do if you are feeling this way.
Welcome back. We now want to give you the latest on that Boeing 737-500 that crashed over the weekend in Indonesia. There were 62 people on board that jet, which plunged into the Java Sea only minutes after takeoff.
ABC's Julie McFarland has the latest as Navy divers continue their search for missing passengers.
Scenes all too familiar in Indonesia. The mangled remains of a turbine engine being pulled from the water. The Sriwijaya air flight took off from the capital Jakarta on a short domestic flight to Borneo, losing contact with the tower just a few minutes after takeoff, but not before data appeared to show it dropping a dizzying 10,000 feet in just 30 seconds. Investigators want to know why. Officials say they have detected pings from the black box flight recorders and have located them, but have yet to retrieve them. 62 people on board the doomed flight, including 10 children. President Joko Widodo this weekend urging the nation to pray for the victims. The president has now seen 3 major fatal plane crashes in his tenure. The first in 2014, killing 162 people on board, and the second in 2018, a Boeing 737 MAX that killed 189 people. This plane, an older jet than the troubled MAX, questions for the government about Indonesia's safety record and whether planes are properly maintained and checked. Those answers may yet come, but it will be little comfort to the families of the passengers. Cornel's sister was on board the flight. He says she always phones their mother before a flight to say goodbye, but this time she never called. The family never received her final goodbye. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
The U.S. State Department now set to designate the Houthi organization a foreign terrorist organization. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying that he plans to designate 3 leaders of the Houthi organization as specially designated global terrorists. The designations will bring more tools to confront terroristic actions by the Iran-supported militia organization in the Gulf region. They also will be boosting efforts to bring peace to Yemen that is free from Iranian interference.
Also happening overseas, Germany has put into effect new restrictive COVID-19 measures that will last until the end of the month. Starting today, all schools must remain closed with remote learning now in place. Shops will also have to shut their doors and only grocery stores and drugstores can stay open. Germans will be allowed to have 1 visitor in their homes at a time, and all travelers entering the country will have to quarantine for 10 days.
Pope Francis announcing that women will be allowed to carry out some duties at Catholic masses. In practice, women have been serving as readers, Eucharistic ministers, and altar servers for decades now, but it's never been canon law. The edict issued by the Pope to the Church follows recommendations from bishops over the last few years that he hopes will show the precious contribution that many laypersons, including women, have been offering to the Church. But in an accompanying letter, Pope Francis reiterated a position stated many times before that the Vatican reserves the priesthood for men only.
Back here at home, President-elect Joe Biden has named veteran American diplomat William Burns as his nominee for director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Bill Burns is a veteran diplomat who served in the U.S. Foreign Service for 33 years. He has served in posts around the world from the Reagan to Obama administrations. Biden said in a statement, quote, "The American people will sleep soundly with him as our next CIA director," end quote.
Very chilly outside today, but again, the news was about the snow yesterday. That's all we're still talking about.
Yeah, it generated a lot of excitement yesterday for much of us. We saw a few snowflakes here in town, a little better snow coverage as you got to the hill country, then some big numbers as you got up into central and north Texas. Take a look at this snowman. That is a hill country snowman. Just enough snow to put together a little itty bitty snowman there, but I like it. Tiffany sent that in from Comfort. We appreciate it as always. Some great pictures coming in from yesterday. Visible satellite picture shows that we had some sun earlier. The clouds now filling in, and I would expect that we're going to see mostly cloudy skies throughout the remainder of today, with more clouds coming in from the north. So that'll keep temperatures down a little bit. We're at 44 right now. Probably not going to climb too much from where we are at this hour. As we look at the bigger picture here, some of this is snow on the ground. Some of it's cloud cover, but we're seeing quite a bit of cloud cover across central Texas today. And look at the temperatures. 33 in Lubbock, 32 in Amarillo. Snow on the ground there, so it's going to keep temperatures chilly. And we're expecting those temperatures to top out close to 47 this afternoon. We will see some clearing tonight. And how much clearing we get is going to have a huge bearing on where those temperatures go by tomorrow morning. We're going to talk more about that forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. If you are diabetic or you know somebody who is, and they have that instant feeling after they eat of discomfort and bloating and heartburn and nausea, it is something that actually does need to get checked out. Here's ABC's Faith Abube with more.
For some, heartburn, bloating, nausea, and feeling stuffed shortly after eating may be more than just your typical big meal overload. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention describes these as symptoms of gastroparesis or slow stomach emptying. Yes, this can be caused by other conditions, but diabetes is the most common one. In diabetics, high blood sugar levels may cause nerve damage and lead to delayed emptying of food from the stomach. Some may even experience pain, poor appetite, vomiting, dehydration, and malnutrition. According to the CDC, there is no cure, but it can be managed. Symptoms may be reduced by keeping blood sugar levels close to the target range, eating frequent and small meals, drinking plenty of water, exercising, and not smoking. The CDC cautions that these symptoms should not be ignored, and those who experience them should seek medical advice. With this Medical Minute, I'm Faith Abube, ABC News.
Still ahead, Taylor Swift tied with Michael Jackson on the Billboard's charts. Details on where the pop star now stands.
Plus, it was a busy weekend in pro football. We've got a recap of the Ravens and Titans game.
And Parler no longer online. Details on why tech giants decided to cut ties with the app that is favored by conservatives.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.